The night is gentle. The world outside your resting place grows quiet. Within the hush of silence, you step softly into another time, an age where stone walls rose against the horizon, and the glow of fire marked the beating heart of a city. Before you stand the great temple gates. They are tall, carved with patterns of gods and guardians. At their base, torches burn low, their flames swaying like dancers in the wind. The air is scented with incense, sweet, smoky, and ancient. And beneath it all, a deeper fire waits, the sacred flame that has burned without end, tended by hands that never let it sleep. Close your eyes in this vision. Let the warmth of that fire touch you. It does not burn, it soothes, like the glow of candlelight on skin. Every flicker is a heartbeat of memory, carrying stories across centuries. Here, faith itself once stood guard, as fiercely as soldiers upon the walls. Within the city, the people moved with reverence. Their footsteps echoed along marble floors, their whispers hushed as though the gods themselves might hear. Children carried small offerings of grain and oil. Elders pressed their hands to stone pillars, feeling the coolness of eternity in each groove. And at the temple's center, priests tended the everlasting flame. It was said this fire was born from the breath of heaven. It was no common spark, no accidental ember. It had been lit in the dawn of their age, and through wars, through famines, through the endless cycle of seasons, it endured. So long as the fire lived, so too did the people. So long as it burned, their city stood blessed. Yet beyond the gates, shadows stirred. For every flame, there is darkness that seeks to claim it. Not with sudden violence, but with the slow pull of envy, of hunger, of fear. Other temples, other gods, other tribes, each had their own fires, their own vows. And sometimes, belief itself became a battlefield. Imagine now the quiet before such storms. The temple fire flickers softly, as the priests sing low chants to guide the dawn. Their voices are deep and steady, like the rhythm of the ocean. Smoke curls upward, painting the sky with silver trails. You can almost hear the steady beat of a drum far away, a reminder that another people, another faith was marching. Yet inside the walls, there is no fear, only devotion. The people believe the fire will protect them. They believe the gods will shelter them, so long as the flame does not die. It is a fragile hope, but a hope that burns like gold in their hearts. Step closer, and you see the faces of those who watch the flame. A mother brings her child, placing a small wreath of flowers at the altar. A young soldier bows, his armor catching the glow. His eyes close, as if asking the fire for courage. An old man kneels, whispering a prayer so soft it becomes part of the smoke itself. All are bound to this light. It is more than fire. It is memory. It is promise. It is the thread tying each soul to something greater than themselves. But time is a restless river, and even sacred fires cannot always protect the world around them. When the city's enemies came, they did not march against walls of stone alone. They marched against belief. They came not only to claim land, but to silence the fire, to prove that their gods were stronger. The battles of faith were not loud in the way of modern wars. They were carried in rituals, in chants, in the way a banner rose or fell. A fire extinguished was as heavy as a sword strike. A shrine toppled was as final as a battlefield lost. And so under the temple gates, quiet struggles began. Priests stood with trembling hands, guarding their flame. Enemies stood outside, their torches raised, their voices declaring the might of their own gods. It was not stone against stone, but spirit against spirit. Now listen closely. In the hush of this vision, hear how the flame answers. It flickers in defiance, stronger in the wind. It crackles as though whispering to the people. Stand firm, keep faith, I am here. Even as shadows pressed against the walls, the fire did not waver. It burned through the night, through the doubt, through the cries of fear. To those who watched, it seemed eternal. And perhaps in a way it was. Not every city survives. Not every temple remains standing. But the memory of their flame has never gone out. Even when stone crumbles and names are lost, the essence of their devotion still lingers, carried like sparks upon the winds of time. You too can feel it now. The warmth of faith that is older than any one people. The glow of a fire that has been passed from age to age, hand to hand, heart to heart. It rests here beside you, in the quiet of your breathing, in the stillness of your resting body. The wars of faith that once surrounded the temple have faded. They are forgotten battles, lost in the turning of the centuries. No anger remains, only the echo of devotion. The people who stood watch are gone, but their prayers still linger in the air, soft as embers. And so, beneath the gates, the fires continue to burn in memory. They are not fierce flames now, but gentle ones. They do not roar, they hum. They do not rage, they soothe. They burn for rest, for peace, for the long night's sleep. Let the image soften in your mind. See the fire glowing in darkness, steady, unbroken. See the temple gates towering above, their carvings worn but beautiful. See the sky, vast and quiet, stars blinking slowly awake. Breathe in that silence. Breathe in the warmth. And know that this flame is not a battle anymore. It is a lullaby, a comfort, a beacon guiding you deeper into calm. The wars are forgotten. The struggles are softened. What remains is only the light and the peace it brings. You stand at the gates, no longer a witness to conflict, but a traveler wrapped in serenity. The fire burns for you now. It asks nothing. It simply glows, steady and eternal, inviting you to rest. As your eyes grow heavy, picture the flame shrinking softly until it is a single golden ember in the dark. The gates fade, the walls fade, the city fades. Only the warmth remains. Only the quiet remains. Let yourself drift with it. The fire will keep watch. The ancient gates will remain standing in your dreams. And you, gentle listener, may sleep. Now let us drift onward. The stars are returning. The night is wide and kind. The story carries you forward into deeper peace. The desert is wide tonight. Its sands stretch like an endless sea, glimmering beneath the quiet watch of the stars. The air is cool, and the wind moves gently, carrying the soft scent of dust and stone. Somewhere far in the distance, a faint rhythm of hooves touches the earth, steady and patient, as though the land itself is breathing. You drift into this world slowly, as though stepping into a dream that has no beginning and no end. The dunes rise and fall like waves, shaped by centuries of wind. The horizon seems to melt into the sky, where constellations shimmer like jeweled banners. Every star feels close, like a lantern hung just above the earth. It is a night of silence, a night of vows. Beneath those constellations, travelers move. A line of figures, wrapped in robes, walking steadily across the sand. They carry banners of cloth, each marked with the sacred signs of their devotion. The banners lift in the night breeze, brushing against the starlight, as if the sky itself were reading their oaths. Their journey is long, and the desert offers little. Yet every step is taken with quiet certainty. For them, survival is not only about water and bread. It is about honoring the gods they serve, keeping the promises spoken by their fathers and mothers, carrying faith forward into the horizon. Their struggles are gentle, woven into silence. There are no cries, no clashing swords here. Only the weight of devotion pressed into each footprint left upon the sand. Long ago, when the desert tribes first looked to the heavens, they saw not only stars. They saw the eyes of their gods. The constellations were not distant lights, but eternal witnesses. Every vow spoken beneath them was bound, unbreakable, for the gods did not forget. When a tribe swore loyalty, they did so not in loud temples, but beneath the open sky. They pressed their hands to the sand. They lifted their faces to the heavens. And in that moment, their words became part of the desert, carried by wind, buried in stone, shining forever in starlight. This is the silent oath. An oath spoken not with shouting voices, but with hearts steady and still. The desert heard it. The gods received it. And the stars remembered it. As you drift deeper into this story, picture a single camp at the heart of the sands. A circle of tents, their fabric billowing softly with the breeze. A fire burns in the center, low and golden, its glow gentle against the dark. Around it, figures sit in silence, their shadows flickering upon the sand. One by one, they lift their eyes to the sky. They see Orion's belt, sharp and bright. They see the curve of the scorpion, guarding the horizon. They see the endless trail of the Milky Way, a river of light flowing above them. In these patterns, they do not see only stars. They see guardians. They see messengers. They see gods that listen. A young man rises from the circle. His robe is simple, but he carries the banner of his tribe. It is made of woven cloth, dyed with the deep reds of earth, the blues of distant seas, the gold of desert sunlight. The banner lifts as he walks, a silent prayer unfurling in the air. He kneels, pressing the banner's pole deep into the sand. In that act, he binds his people again to the oath made long ago. The desert watches. The stars record. The gods accept. No trumpet sounds, no crowd shouts. Only silence and the slow crackle of fire. The vow does not need to be loud to be eternal. Imagine now the journey of these tribes. By day, the sun blazes, and every grain of sand glows with heat. The people walk slowly, their robes drawn tight, their eyes lowered against the light. By night, the world cools, and the desert blooms with stars. In this silence, they whisper prayers. They hum songs so soft that the wind carries them away like feathers. Every step is devotion. Every mile is faith made visible. They are pilgrims of the endless sands, their lives woven into the tapestry of the desert. But devotion is not without struggle. There were times when tribes crossed paths, their banners raised high, each declaring their gods above all others. The silent oath became a silent rivalry, etched into the land without words. They did not always meet with swords, sometimes only with stares, with guarded silence, with a refusal to share water. Even here, belief carried its weight. Even here, wars of faith unfolded softly, without noise, but with the same deep roots as any battle. The desert remembered. It carried the memory of every vow, every rivalry, every promise broken or kept. And though the sand shifted, burying footprints and tents, the oaths remained, hidden like seeds beneath the soil. Now return again to the camp beneath the stars. The fire burns low, and the night grows cooler. The tribe gathers close, listening to the elders speak. Their voices are gentle, telling stories of gods who walked across these very sands. They tell of a river that once flowed here, long gone now, but still remembered in myth. They tell of the first vow, when their ancestors stood barefoot beneath the heavens and promised to carry the light of their gods forever. The children listen, their eyes heavy with sleep. The young warriors listen, their hands resting on the sand. The elders speak slowly, each word like a drop of water in the desert. The oath lives in these stories. It is not written in books. It is carried in memory, in song, in the soft pulse of the night wind. Far above, the stars continue to burn. Each one is like a guardian flame, eternal patient watching. They do not rush. They do not fade. They simply shine, keeping the oath alive long after voices fall silent. And so the tribes walk, generation after generation. They cross the same sands, guided by the same constellations. They speak the same silent vows, carried in their hearts, given to the desert, entrusted to the sky. In this vision, you too stand beneath the stars. The sand is cool beneath your feet. The wind is soft against your face. You hold nothing, yet you feel as though you carry a banner of your own, woven from breath, from memory, from the quiet promise to rest, to dream, to be still. The desert accepts your presence. The stars look down kindly. And in this moment, you too are part of the silent oath. Let the scene fade slowly. The banners lower. The fire dies down to embers. The tribe curls into sleep, their breath steady, their dreams carried by the wind. The desert is wide, but it is gentle now. It is not empty. It is full of memory, of devotion, of the silent promises whispered long ago. It cradles you as it cradles them. Rest in this desert of stars. Rest in this sea of sand. Rest in the promise that silence itself can hold faith, and that vows can live forever in the calm of the night. Now let us drift onward. The stars return to their quiet watch. The desert grows still, and sleep waits gently at the edge of your dreams. The sound of water greets you. It is not loud but steady. A river flows in the dark, its surface smooth as silk, its voice low and endless. Mist rises from its banks, curling like incense smoke into the early twilight sky. Stars shimmer faintly above, reflected in the ripples below, as if the heavens have bent down to meet the earth. This is no ordinary river. It is a sacred one. To those who live along its banks, it is life itself. It carries their crops, their prayers, their songs. Its waters are the breath of their gods, flowing from unseen mountains to unseen seas. You drift closer. The night air is cool against your skin. The earth smells of wet clay and reeds. From the far shore, a drum beats slowly, echoing across the water. It is not the rhythm of war, but of worship, low, steady, unbroken. For as long as memory reaches, rivers have been holy. They are the paths of the divine, winding across the land like threads woven by the gods. Each bend, each curve, is believed to be shaped by a spirit's hand. Each flood is not disaster, but blessing, though blessings may come with trials. To one tribe, the river is a mother, feeding her children with fertile soil. To another, it is a warrior, rushing with strength, carving valleys through stone. To another still, it is a judge, deciding who may thrive and who must fall. Each people see their God in the same flowing water. Each raise their voices to the same current. And yet, each claim it belongs to them alone. So like waters that meet in flood, beliefs collide. Not with sharp cries or loud battles, but with whispers, rituals, and vows. At dawn, one people pour milk into the river, their offering to the mother. At dusk, another people pour oil, their gift to the warrior. By night, others float lanterns. Hopping the judge will guide their dead into peace. The river accepts it all. It carries milk, oil, and flame together. It does not choose. It simply flows. Picture now the banks of this river, lined with torches. The flames reflect in the dark water, stretching into 1,000 golden paths. Men and women gather at the edges, their robes brushing the soil. Children stand beside them, eyes wide, clutching small clay bowls filled with offerings. Their voices rise. Some chant in deep tones, slow as the earth. Others sing, their melodies higher, weaving like birdsong into the air. The two songs meet above the water, not in harmony, but not in anger either. Like two winds brushing against one another in the same sky. The river listens. It does not turn away. It does not quiet one song to hear the other. It carries both, weaving them into its endless journey toward the sea. Yet beneath the quiet, a tension stirs. The people glance across the water at one another. They wonder whose God hears more clearly. They wonder whose offering carries further. The river is wide, but their hopes press against its surface like stones breaking the current. Some nights they gather in greater numbers. Banners rise. Priests stand tall, holding staffs carved with sacred symbols. The drums grow louder, as though to call the river's spirit to choose. And across the water, another people answer with their own chants, their own banners, their own belief. The turmoil is not of swords, but of spirit. Each heart claims the river. Each voice declares its truth. And the water flows on, carrying all their words together into the vast unknown. Close your eyes for a moment. Hear the sounds. The low hum of chanting. The crackle of torches. The splash of offerings sinking into the water. The distant cry of a night bird circling above the mist. All of it blends into one sound. Not conflict, not separation, but a chorus of longing. Every voice seeks the same thing. To be heard, to be remembered, to be held by the divine. And perhaps that is the secret the river keeps. That though people believe they struggle against one another, their prayers are not so different. Their hopes flow in the same current. Their fears dissolve in the same stream. Their dreams rise into the same mist. Imagine now a flood. The rains have come heavy, and the river swells beyond its banks. The waters rise, curling over fields, carrying boats into trees. The people cry out, some in awe, some in fear. Each declares that it is their God who has shown power. Each believes the flood is either blessing or judgment. But the river does not explain itself. It gives life and takes it away with the same motion. It destroys and nourishes with the same breath. It remains beyond grasp, beyond claim, beyond division. The turmoil grows not from the river, but from hearts that seek to hold what cannot be held. The gods of water do not fight one another. It is people who draw borders upon the flow, forgetting that water knows no boundary. And yet the story does not end in discord. For in time the people learn. Floodwaters recede. Fields bloom again. Children laugh along the banks, tossing reeds into the current, watching them drift away. The songs of worship soften into lullabies sung at twilight. The offerings become smaller, humbler flowers, seeds, whispered prayers. The river remains patient, eternal. It has outlived kings. It has outlasted wars. It will flow long after names are forgotten. And always, it carries the silent oath of those who loved it, those who feared it, those who believed it was the very breath of the divine. Now, return once more to the river at night. The torches are dim. The chants have faded into silence. Mist covers the water, silver under the moon. You stand at the bank. The soil is cool beneath your feet. The current moves steadily, drawing your gaze outward, onward. It does not rush you. It simply flows, carrying all things, all prayers, all memories together. Breathe with it. Feel its rhythm, steady and soft. Your heart is another ripple in its surface. Your breath is another mist rising into its air. You are part of the river now, part of the ancient flow that has always been and always will be. The turmoil of gods has quieted. The prayers have softened. Only the river remains calm and eternal, a dream flowing through time. Now rest. Let the waters carry you. Let the stars above reflect in your eyes as they close. The river remembers your presence. The river holds your silence. And as the mist rises higher, as the current hums low and deep, let yourself drift onward. For the night is gentle, and the stars return to their watch. The night is fading. The last stars tremble in the sky like faint embers. Mist clings to the grass, silver in the quiet of dawn. From the east, a pale glow rises, spreading softly across the horizon. The world holds its breath, waiting for the first touch of morning light. It is in this fragile hour between shadow and day that old stories speak of sacred spears. Weapons, yet not only weapons. They gleamed like the sun, but were believed to carry the breath of gods. They were lifted not merely by human hands, but by hearts aflame with devotion. The air is still. You stand among a circle of sleeping hills, their slopes dark with trees. A valley opens before you, where a river glides in silence. On its banks a gathering waits, men and women cloaked in skins, their faces painted with ash and clay. They do not shout. They do not stir in anger. They wait, watching the edge of the horizon, as if it holds the answer to their prayers. The first ray breaks. It touches the tips of spears planted in the earth, lined in rows before them. The metal flashes, golden as dawn itself, and the people bow their heads. For them, this light is not only morning. It is the touch of heaven, a sign that their gods wake with them. The spears stand tall, silent, yet filled with meaning. They are more than iron and wood. Each has been blessed in ritual. Each has been washed in smoke from sacred fire. Each has been given a name, whispered by priests in the stillness of night. One spear bears the name of the Sun Father, who rides the sky in blazing chariot. Another carries the name of the Earth Mother, whose soil feeds the tribe. Another is for the Stormbringer, whose voice is thunder, whose gift is rain. Each spear is a prayer turned into metal, a silent hymn given form. As the light grows, chants begin to rise. Deep voices hum low, steady as the earth beneath. High voices weave above them, fragile as birds in flight. The sound grows and grows until it fills the valley like a tide. The people believe their gods hear them. They believe the spears drink the chants and carry them upward, gleaming as bridges to the unseen realm. No hand dares yet to lift them. It is not time. For first the sun must climb higher, blessing the valley with its fire. The stories tell of days when tribes clashed, not for gold, not for fields, but for the honor of their gods. It was believed that to guard the sacred name was to guard the soul of the people. And so they lifted their spears in faith, not hatred. They marched not for conquest, but for devotion. On mornings like this, they gathered as you see them now. Their faces painted with the colors of dawn. Their bodies wrapped in symbols carved from bone and stone. The sacred spears lined before them, glimmering like rays of the newborn sun. The air itself seemed to tremble, heavy with the breath of the divine. No one spoke of fear. No one spoke of death. They spoke only of service. To them, the spear was not a weapon. It was a vow, made solid and shining in their hands. Imagine a single warrior now. He stands apart from the others, his head bowed, his hands clasped before his chest. The spear before him bears carvings of the sun, each line etched with care. His lips move, but his words are not for human ears. They are carried to the sky, into the light that spreads higher with each breath of dawn. When the time comes, he will lift that spear, not in pride, but in offering. Not to strike first, but to declare, here stands the faith of my people. The clash that may follow is not of greed, but of spirit. And even in the struggle, the warriors believe their gods are present, watching, guiding, remembering. The chants deepen. The priests step forward, their robes trailing through dew. They sprinkle the spears with water drawn from the river. They wave smoke over them, thick with the scent of pine and herbs. The morning light thickens, turning gold then white. The valley glows. The mist begins to rise and scatter. The river sparkles with reflections of the sky. Birds break into song, their notes weaving through the human voices. It is as though the whole world joins in the prayer. And then a silence falls. The people bow. The priests raise their hands. One by one, the warriors step forward. They take the spears from the earth, lifting them into the air. The valley shines. A forest of golden points reaches upward. The sun catches each tip, scattering fire into every direction. It is no longer dawn alone. It is the dawn of the sacred spears. What follows in the old stories is not told with anger. It is told with solemnity, like remembering a heavy dream. When tribes met in the field, their spears glinted across the plain like two suns rising. The sound of their march was deep, steady, like the beating of the earth's heart. They lifted their weapons high, as if showing them to the heavens first. Only then did they clash. The noise was great, but behind it there was still prayer. Every strike was believed to echo in the sky. Every fall was believed to be carried gently into the arms of the gods. And so even in battle, there was reverence. Even in loss, there was faith. The sacred spears, it was said, shone brightest in moments of sorrow, for the gods themselves bent low to carry the fallen home. But now here in this quiet valley, there is no sound of war. Only mourning birds. Only the hum of prayer. Only the shine of light on metal. You breathe with the rhythm of the river, with the rustle of the tree and the rising breeze, with the steady silence of the waiting warriors. The spears gleam, but they do not fright. They are not here to harm you. They are here to remind you of devotion, of promise, of the gentle flame that burns in every soul. They stand as bridges, reaching from earth to sky, from human longing to divine silence. Now the sun has risen fully. Its warmth spills across the valley. The shadows of night have fled. The warriors lower their heads once more, their spears glimmering in soft light. Some say this moment was always more sacred than the clash that followed. This stillness, this gathering, this shimmering dawn. It was here that faith burned brightest. It was here that the world seemed whole, joined by the promise of light. The vision fades slowly. The spears remain, glowing in your memory like golden stars. The chants quiet until they are no more than whispers in the breeze. The valley dissolves into mist. The river flows on, steady and eternal. You are left in silence, held by the same gentle morning light. It warms your face. It softens your breath. It reminds you that even in stories of struggle, there is beauty, there is peace. Rest now in that light. Let the sacred spears lower into calm. Let the chants become a lullaby. Let the sun cradle you, steady and warm. The dawn has come. The sacred spears have shone. Now the world is quiet once again. And as the stars retreat to their secret places, as the river continues its journey, let yourself drift onward. For the day is gentle, and the night will return with stars to guide you home. Night lingers in the valleys below. Shadows pool among forests and winding paths. The air is cool, kissed by the faint silver of moonlight. Above it all the mountains rise, their peaks touched with snow, glimmering like pale crowns beneath the stars. It is here high above the restless earth that ancient shrines stand. They do not shout their presence. They do not blaze with fire or gold. They are quiet, carved of stone, nestled in cliffs and hollows. They rest like guardians, keeping secrets older than memory. The path to them is long and steep. It winds through mist, through silent forest, through rock and silence. Those who climb feel the weight of the sky pressing near, and the breath of the world growing thin. It is said that the climb itself was a prayer, a test of the heart. For only those who endured the mountain's silence could hear the whispers waiting at its summit. The shrines were not vast. They were small, humble, built with hands both rough and reverent. Some were simple altars of stone. Others were wooden halls, their roofs bowed with snow. Torches flickered in front of them, though no hand was seen to light them. The flames burned softly, as if fed not by oil but by faith itself. Inside, shadows deepened. Walls bore carvings of gods with many forms. Mountain spirits with faces of rock. River maidens with hair of flowing streams. Sky fathers whose eyes were stars. Each figure gazed outward, not in judgment but in silence, as though they too were listening for something greater. When pilgrims entered, they removed their shoes. They touched their foreheads to the stone. Their breaths clouded in the cold air, rising like offerings, fatting like incense into the rafters. It is told that prayers spoken here were not answered with thunder or flame. Instead, the mountains answered in whispers. The wind carried them, slipping through cracks of stone, twisting around corners, curling through the shrine halls. Sometimes the whispers sounded like voices. Sometimes like the cry of a bird, the rush of water, the crack of shifting ice. Yet always the people believed it was the gods who spoke. They asked simple things: a safe journey, a child's healing, the return of spring's green warmth. The mountain listened, and the whisper would come, soft as snow, telling them that the gods had heard. But not all was peace. The mountains, vast as they were not untouched by the struggles of the world below. Tribes who prayed to different gods sometimes climbed the same paths. They left offerings on the same altars. They pressed their foreheads to the same stones. And in these moments, silence carried weight. One tribe's chant would rise, low and steady. Another tribe's song would answer higher, weaving into the same air. The prayers overlapped, like two rivers joining, sometimes blending in harmony, sometimes colliding with unease. The mountain shrines heard both. Their walls kept both voices. The wind whispered both back. Yet the people, caught in devotion, sometimes felt that the gods themselves were in quiet conflict, each longing to be heard first. Still the shrines remained, even when footsteps of rival tribes echoed in the same halls. The shrines stood unbroken. The mountains did not choose. They only listened. They only echoed. Some stories say that the gods were never at odds, that the whispers were not of rivalry, but of patience, that the mountains were teaching people to hear beyond their own voices, to listen to the quiet harmony that lay hidden beneath all prayers. Others tell that in the silence of snow and stone, the gods themselves laid down their disputes, that the shrines were places where even the divine grew weary of conflict, and so they spoke only in whispers, soft, eternal, unending. Imagine standing now at the edge of such a shrine. The sky is wide above, a blanket of silver stars. The wind brushes your skin, cool and thin, carrying with it faint voices that seem to come from everywhere and nowhere. You kneel upon the stone floor. You hear water trickling through cracks deep below. You hear the wings of a bird passing high above. And beneath it all, softer than breath, a murmur that seems to speak not to your ears, but to your soul. It does not give you answers. It does not command. It simply rests within you, like a hand laid gently upon the heart. The pilgrims who descended from the mountains carried this silence with them. They returned to their valleys, to their homes, to their families. Yet in their voices there was a hush. In their eyes there was a light. The shrines had left their mark, not of noise, not of flame, but of stillness. And in times when conflicts grew louder, when voices of tribes rose like storm winds, some would recall the mountain shrines. They would close their eyes. They would remember the whispers. And for a moment, even amid strife, there was peace. The mountains remain. Their peaks still wear crowns of snow. Their shrines, though weathered, still rest like small guardians of eternity. The wind still curls through their halls. The whispers are still there for those who climb. Patient, unchanging, like the stones themselves. High above the valleys, time seems slower. The stars seem closer. The heart beats quieter. And the silence of the gods still lingers. Soft as drifting snow. Enduring as the peaks that hold the sky. Now the vision fades. The shrines blur into mist. The peaks sink into shadow. The wind becomes only breath. The whispers quiet into memory. Yet the feeling remains. The hush of high places. The gentle hand of silence upon your heart. Let it guide you now into stillness. Let it settle you, calm as snow upon a sleeping mountain. The shrines stand eternal. Their whispers drift on. And you too may rest, safe and soft beneath the quiet sky. Let us drift onward. Now rest as the stars return. The night arrives gently, as though carried on wings of silver. It falls over the land with a hush, wrapping forests, rivers, and hills in a soft cloak of shadow. In the heart of the forest, hidden from wandering eyes, there lie sanctuaries older than kingdoms. Here, where the canopy parts just enough to let the moonlight fall, sacred halls of stone and wood rise like whispers from the earth. The air is cool, and the leaves glisten with dew, catching the glow of the night like tiny stars scattered upon the ground. The sanctuaries do not shout their presence. They rest quietly, veiled by vines and softened by moss. Only those who walk with reverence find them. Only those who listen hear their silence. It is said that the forest itself shields them, weaving branches as gates and shadows as guards. Every tree stands as a sentinel, every stream as a boundary, marking the world of men from the world of spirit. When the moon rises high, a light not of the sun, the sanctuaries awaken. Torches flicker softly, their flames swaying like reeds in the wind. They do not burn harshly. They glow as if bowing to the moon, never wishing to outshine it. The priestesses gather, robed in pale cloth that seems to drink the starlight. Their hair flows loose like rivers, and their eyes carry the calm of deep waters. They move in circles, slow and deliberate, as though each step has been walked since time began. Their voices rise, not loud but steady, gentle as a stream beneath stone. They sing not for men, but for the moon. Their song is a bridge between earth and sky, between seen and unseen. Each note drifts upward, like smoke rising from incense, like prayer drifting into eternity. The forest leans closer, the leaves rustle in soft accord, and the night itself listens. The moonlight falls upon the sanctuaries like a veil. It turns the stone white, it silvers the bark of trees, it threads the air with brightness. The veil is not only light, but presence. It is said that under this veil, the boundaries between worlds grow thin. Here spirits pass with ease. Here prayers take form. Here the forgotten are remembered, and the unseen become near. Long ago, stories tell, these sanctuaries were born from both peace and strife. Tribes would gather not with swords, but with offerings. Yet offerings themselves became their battles. Who brought the richest grain, the purest water, the fairest animal? Whose devotion would the gods behold? Thus, quiet wars of ritual unfolded beneath the moon. No steel clashed, no blood spilled, yet hearts still strained and rivalries still breathed, hidden behind chants and smoke. The priestesses carried the burden of these wars. Their hands touched the offerings, their lips spoke the prayers, their bodies bore the weight of devotion. They were seen as bridges, as vessels, as lanterns lit by divine flame. Yet in their hearts, they sought not rivalry but balance. For they knew the moon itself had no favorite. It shone upon all equally, upon rivers and stones, upon kings and beggars, upon the hawk in its flight, and the worm in the earth. So too, they whispered, should devotion flow. The rituals were many. Some nights, bowls of milk were poured upon the soil, so the earth might drink as a child. Some nights, fires were lit with fragrant woods, so their smoke might rise as a ladder for prayers. At times, garlands of flowers were laid upon the stones, each petal carrying the softness of love. And when the moon grew full, the greatest ritual unfolded. The priestesses would gather in circles of 12, their voices weaving together, lifting the forest into stillness. No beast stirred, no branch snapped. The entire night became one breath, held in reverence. There is a story, told in the hush of these sanctuaries, about the veil itself. It is said that once, long ago, a man wandered into the forest seeking treasure. He cared little for shrines, little for prayer. He sought only gold. He walked until the moonlight found him and drew him into its veil. There he saw the priestesses, their eyes shining, their voices like rivers. For a moment, his heart grew still. He dropped the thought of treasure and bent his head. When he left the forest, he carried nothing in his hands. But in his heart, a new weight had grown. He spoke of peace, of silence, of a veil that none could lift but the moon. So the sanctuaries endured, not by walls of stone, but by the memory of those who had seen them. They became places not of conquest, but of remembrance. Every tree remembers the prayers spoken beneath its shade. Every stream remembers the milk poured upon its banks. Every stone remembers the footsteps of the priestesses, soft as falling petals. The veil of moonlight still falls. Even now, when eyes close and hearts grow still, the sanctuaries return in dream. Perhaps you have walked there already, in sleep or in silence. Perhaps your soul has heard the distant chanting, the soft bells that ring without metal, the gentle hum of the earth in prayer. The veil is not far. It is no more distant than the quiet of your breath. It waits in the stillness, always ready, always patient. Now the night deepens. The torches sink into embers. The priestesses rest, their voices fading into the hush of the trees. The veil thins, yet does not vanish. It lingers like the afterglow of a dream, like the silver trail of a falling star. The forest closes its arms once more, hiding the sanctuaries until the next moonrise. And you, gentle listener, drift with them. The veil wraps softly around you too. It cools your mind, it soothes your heart, it lays you down in its silver embrace. Let the forest stand watch. Let the moon guard your sleep. Let the voices of the sanctuaries echo in silence, like lullabies carried on the wind. Rest now under the veil of moonlight. The sanctuaries remain. The priestesses wait. And the night carries you softly onward. The night is long and still. Shadows fold gently around stone pillars, where flames of oil lamps flicker like tired eyes. High above, the stars watch silently, scattered across the velvet sky. The air carries the faint perfume of laurel leaves and incense, drifting through marble halls worn smooth by the touch of centuries. Here in this sacred place, the oracle rests. The halls are quiet, yet they breathe with memory. Every wall holds whispers. Every step carries echoes of those who came seeking answers. Kings and soldiers, farmers and poets, each once walked here with trembling hearts. They came not for riches, not for gold, but for words. Words from the mouth of one touched by the unseen. Words believed to be lit by the fire of gods. The oracle sits in the inner chamber, where shadows are deep and silence is heavy. Her robe is white, though dimmed by years, and her face glows with a pale stillness, as though moonlight has taken root within her skin. Her lips part with breath, her eyes close, and her spirit sinks into that quiet river between worlds. Their visions rise like smoke, uncertain, shifting, always half-veiled. Sometimes the visions are gentle. A harvest plentiful, children laughing by streams, the blessing of rain falling upon dry earth. But more often they arrive like storms. Fires leaping across cities, men marching with spears, temples broken under weight of anger. The oracle sees both, beauty and dread bound together, as though night and dawn are woven from the same thread. She speaks, her voice trembling like wind in hollow reeds. The priests listen, the seekers kneel, and the words spill into the air. They do not come in clear lines, but in riddles, in fragments, in whispers that must be tended like embers. The river runs red, yet the vine still bears fruit. The crown falls not from the hand, but from the shadow at its side. The child of tomorrow holds the tears of today. Many listen, few understand, and fewer still remember. For when warnings come, wrapped in mystery, they are often set aside. The mind prefers what is easy, what is bright. It turns away from the weight of dread, closing its door as though closing its eyes. Yet the oracle continues. Year after year, her lips tremble with visions. Her warnings flow like streams into the valley, and though the earth drinks, it forgets quickly. Time moves with heavy feet. The words sink into silence, unheeded, until the storm she named begins to rise. There are stories told about such forgetting. Once a king came, golden crown upon his head, cloak heavy with jewels. He asked of the oracle if his war would end in glory. She spoke softly, her words slow and fragile. The lion roars, yet its paw bleeds. The mountain you climb is stone, not cloud. Beware the summit. The king frowned, for riddles do not serve pride. He left, dismissing her voice as frail muttering. Yet when his army climbed the mountain of war, the stone cut them down, one by one. His paw too bled, and no roar could save him. The halls remember this, even when men forget. The marble stones are like scrolls, holding every sound, every cry, every unheeded warning. They hum softly at night, when all has grown still, carrying the memory of what was lost. The oracle herself carries another kind of burden. She does not forget. Each vision carves into her soul. Each warning unanswered adds weight to her heart. She walks slowly, as though the air itself is heavy upon her shoulders. Her eyes, once bright, now seem deep as wells, filled with shadows of things unseen. Yet within those shadows flickers a light, a devotion unbroken. Though unheard, she continues to speak. Though forgotten, she continues to see. There is beauty in this too, for even in her sorrow, she embodies the patience of eternity. Like a tree rooted in storm, she bends but does not fall. Like the moon, she appears night after night, though clouds cover her face. Her warnings may vanish into silence, but the act of speaking itself is sacred. Each word, whether embraced or lost, is a thread in the vast weaving of time. The people outside the shrine sometimes whisper of her. They say she is both gift and curse, both blessed and bound. Some fear her, believing her visions bring misfortune. Others honor her, leaving flowers and oil at the temple gates. Yet she lives between these shadows, neither worshipped fully, nor despised completely. Her life belongs not to herself, but to the unseen currents that move through her veins. There is a tale of one night, when she saw a vision brighter than any before. In her trance, she walked along a river of silver light. On its bank stood children laughing, their hands full of blossoms. And though behind them shadows moved, the children never turned, never wept. The oracle woke with tears of peace upon her cheeks. That vision, she knew, was not a warning but a promise, that even in ages of sorrow, beauty would not be lost. It would bloom again, fragile yet eternal, like flowers on the banks of time. So she spoke of it, softly, again and again, to those who came in fear. She told them of children by the silver river. She told them of blossoms in shadow. And though they left puzzled, they carried the warmth of her voice within them. Perhaps that was enough. The halls grow quiet now. The lamps flicker low, their oil nearly gone. The oracle rests, her breath slow, her body bowed like an old tree. Her warnings, her promises, her riddles, all drift into the silence of night. Time may forget her. The world may silence her voice. But in the hidden places of the soul, her words remain, echoing like soft bells heard only in dreams. The stars above shimmer faintly, as though nodding in agreement. The marble sighs in the cool air, holding centuries in its stillness. And you too may feel it, the weight of words unspoken, the beauty of truths half remembered. They drift like feathers in the night, gentle, ungraspable, yet always near. Now let the lamps go out. Let the oracle sleep. Her warnings have been carried far enough for tonight. The halls close their eyes, and the silence grows deep. Rest in that silence. Let it fold around you as softly as the oracle's voice. Let the warnings fade into dreams, where they no longer trouble but only soothe. Rest as the stars return. The marble halls remain. The oracle's voice drifts onward, and the night carries you softly into sleep. The morning is pale and tender. A thin veil of mist lingers over the horizon, soft as the breath of a sleeping child. The world is hushed, waiting, as though listening for footsteps that have walked this path since time began. Upon roads of dust, scattered with stones and shaded by weary trees, pilgrims move slowly. Their sandals are thin, their garments faded by sun and wind, yet their eyes carry a light that no hardship can dim. The roads are old. They wind through valleys, climb hills, and vanish into deserts where the sky seems endless. Generations have passed along them, leaving invisible trails of prayer. Every step upon the dust feels like an echo of someone long gone. The ground remembers. It remembers the sorrow of feet that bled, the joy of songs that rose, the weight of silence when tears were carried instead of words. The pilgrims walk in small groups, bound not by blood but by faith. They carry little, flasks of water, bags of grain, maybe a blanket for the cold nights. But within their hearts they carry much. Some walk in search of healing. Some seek forgiveness. Others walk only to give thanks, offering their journey as a gift to the unseen. As the road stretches on, voices rise like gentle birdsong. Hymns float across the fields, soft and steady, blending with the whisper of wind in the grass. The songs are not grand. They are simple, worn smooth like pebbles in a stream. Yet in their simplicity lies strength, a strength that carries the weary onward. Along the path stand shrines, small and humble. Some are no more than stones stacked carefully by unknown hands. Others hold flickering lamps, kept alive by villagers who honor the travelers. At these places, the pilgrims pause. They wash their faces with water from clay jars, sip from streams, and lay down offerings, flowers, fruit, or even just a whispered prayer. The shrines are like oases, not only for the body but for the spirit. They remind the wanderer that the road, though long, is never empty. There are children among the pilgrims. They skip and laugh, chasing each other between the slow-moving lines. Though their sandals are broken, their laughter is whole, ringing through the air like silver bells. To the elders, their joy is a blessing, a reminder that the road is not only burden but also gift. Every smile, every burst of laughter is like a flower blooming in dry soil. As the day wears on, the sun climbs higher and the road grows hotter. Dust rises with every step, coating skin and cloth in pale earth. The pilgrims lower their heads, their pace steady but slow. They do not curse the dust nor the heat. To them, each grain of earth is sacred, each hardship a part of the offering. Their journey is not toward comfort, but toward meaning. and meaning is often found only through the weight of the road. Sometimes, travelers from distant lands join the path. Their clothes are different, their speech unfamiliar, but their eyes are the same. Eyes full of hope, full of questions, full of quiet longing. The road unites them. Dust knows no borders, and prayer knows no tongue. Side by side, they walk, sharing bread, sharing silence, sharing the slow rhythm of footsteps that beat like a single heart. At night, the pilgrims gather around small fires. They sit in circles, shadows long against the glowing embers. Some tell stories of home. Others recite verses passed down through their people. The fire crackles softly, sending sparks into the sky where stars already shine. The stars themselves seem like pilgrims too, scattered across the heavens, journeying through endless night. The pilgrims look up, finding comfort in their light. For just as they walk roads of earth, the stars walk roads of sky. There are tales told on these nights. Tales of those who walked before, whose devotion shaped the world. Of men who crossed deserts with nothing but a staff. Of women who carried faith through storms of sorrow. Of kings who disguised themselves as common pilgrims to feel the dust beneath their feet. Each story is a lantern, glowing gently in the minds of the listeners, reminding them that they are not alone. They walk a path shared by countless souls, a river of devotion flowing through time. Yet not all who meet the pilgrims greet them with kindness. Sometimes they face scorn, their faith mocked, their struggle questioned. At times, soldiers bar their way, demanding coin or obedience. But the pilgrims do not raise weapons. They answer only with patience. Their power is not in the arm, but in the heart. For they walk not for land, nor pride, nor wealth. They walk for what cannot be taken, the vow between soul and the eternal. And so even in hardship, the pilgrims continue. When the rains fall, soaking them to the bone, they keep walking. When the nights freeze, when hunger gnaws, when blisters burn, they keep walking. For the road itself is prayer, each step a verse, each mile a hymn. The journey is the temple. The dust is the altar. And the traveler, weary yet unbroken, is the offering. There is a silence that comes in the deepest part of the night. The fires fade, the songs fall still, and only the wind remains. It brushes against the faces of the sleeping, carrying with it the scent of far-off fields. In that silence, dreams come easily. Dreams of the destination, where light is said to shine without end. Dreams of ancestors walking beside them, unseen but close. Dreams of rivers and trees, of peace waiting at the end of the road. The mountains in the distance are dark shapes against the stars. Tomorrow, the pilgrims will walk toward them. Tomorrow, the road will rise steep and hard. But for now, there is rest. There is the soft breath of children curled in blankets. There is the low hum of elders murmuring prayers before sleep. There is the quiet glow of the moon, keeping watch like a guardian above them all. And as sleep folds gently over the weary travelers, the road itself seems to sigh. It has carried so many before. It will carry many more. Each step, though forgotten by the world, is remembered by the earth. The dust holds them tenderly, as though blessing each pilgrim's footfall. For in the end, all roads lead to silence, and all silence leads to peace. Now the fires are ash. The voices have faded. The stars gleam softly, and the earth rests beneath their gaze. Let the pilgrims sleep. Let their burdens ease. Let their songs drift into dreams where no road is too long, and no heart is too heavy. And you too may rest here, upon the quiet road of night. Let your own steps grow lighter, your breath slower, your heart at peace. For the journey continues not only in waking, but in dreams. Let us drift onward. The pilgrims sleep upon dusty roads, and the stars return to guide them. Sparkle's word count, ~1 605. Would you like the next chapter to follow the pilgrims into their sacred destination, a temple, mountain, or holy city? Or would you prefer another chapter that lingers on the journey itself, the landscapes, the trials, and the symbols found along the way? Chapter 8, Pilgrims Upon Dusty Roads. The night settles gently. Its breath is cool, and its touch is soft. A thin crescent moon hangs low, wrapped in a veil of drifting clouds. The earth is quiet, save for the whisper of wind brushing across the stones of an ancient road. It is a road worn by countless feet, a road of dust and memory, carrying the weight of centuries. Upon this path walk pilgrims. Their sandals are thin, their garments plain, their steps steady but slow. Each carries little, just a bundle, a flask of water, and the quiet burden of their faith. The road stretches long, winding across valleys and hills, through forests of olive and fields of barley. It is not an easy journey, yet it is one filled with meaning. For with every step, the pilgrims draw closer to something unseen, something whispered of in prayers. The air around them is thick with dust, yet also rich with silence. Birds call faintly in the distance, their voices softened by the night. The scent of earth rises, mingling with traces of dried herbs tucked into the folds of the pilgrims' clothing. And though their bodies tire, their spirits are carried forward, as though the very stars above are pulling them along. Some walk in pairs, speaking softly. Their words are not of gold or trade, but of dreams, of signs, of memories of home. Others walk alone, their thoughts turned inward, like lanterns glowing within their own hearts. Together, they form a quiet river of movement, flowing over the ancient road. The dust rises with each step, catching in the moonlight, shining for a moment like silver smoke. The journey of a pilgrim is not only across the earth, it is also within the soul. Each step on stone, each hour beneath the sun, each night beneath the stars. All of these are mirrors, reflecting the unseen paths of the spirit. The road becomes a teacher. The weariness of the body becomes a prayer. And even silence becomes a hymn, rising without sound to the heavens. In the distance, the sound of a drum carries faintly. It is not the drum of war, but the slow rhythm of a traveler beating time upon wood. The pilgrims hear it, and their steps begin to move in unison. They do not march. They drift. They sway gently like reeds along a riverbank, held together by an unseen rhythm. There is an old story, often told among such travelers. It is said that when one walks a road of dust long enough, the dust itself remembers. It remembers the feet of kings, of shepherds, of mothers, of children. It remembers prayers whispered in exhaustion, and songs sung to ease the weight of silence. And in remembering, the dust becomes sacred. The ground beneath them is no longer ordinary earth, but a tapestry woven of every step that came before. To walk upon it is to walk within memory itself. The pilgrims feel this truth in their bones. When they pause at a well, they do so quietly, as though they are not merely drinking, but honoring all who once drank here. When they pass beneath an arch of stone, they touch it gently, as though greeting a friend. When they sit at night beside a small fire, they see in the flames not only their own shadows, but the shadows of countless others who have journeyed before them. And yet the road is not without hardship. The sun burns fiercely by day, and the nights grow cold. Blisters rise on their feet, and hunger gnaws gently at their stomachs. Sometimes storms sweep across the land, and the road becomes mud. Other times bandits lurk, waiting for the weary and unguarded. These quiet wars, the wars of hunger, of exhaustion, of fear, are not chosen by the pilgrims, yet they must walk through them. Still their hearts endure. For the road is long, but so is faith. There is one pilgrim, older than the rest. His beard is white, and his eyes carry both sorrow and peace. He walks with a staff, steady and slow, each step pressed carefully into the dust. Around him, younger travelers whisper of his wisdom. They say he has walked this road many times, that he knows where the wells hide, where the paths split, where the night wind is gentlest. Yet when he is asked why he continues, his answer is simple. Each journey is new. Even the same road changes, for I am never the same as I was before. These words drift through the travelers like soft incense. They remind them that pilgrimage is not about reaching a stone shrine or a distant temple. It is about the slow unfolding of the soul. It is about learning to see the sacred in dust, in hunger, in silence, in stars. And so they walk on, carrying the words within them like hidden lanterns. At night, the pilgrims gather around fires. The flames crackle gently. The smoke rises into the cool air, carrying prayers upward like invisible threads. One sings a low song, his voice deep and soft, echoing like a drum in the valley. Another tells a tale of a saint who crossed deserts with nothing but faith. Another hums quietly to herself, her tune weaving gently into the night. The fires flicker, and the shadows stretch long, embracing the weary travelers in a gentle dance of light and dark. Above them, the stars gleam. They are countless, endless, scattered like seeds across the black soil of the sky. To the pilgrims, each star is a guide, each star a witness. They believe the heavens watch their steps, marking their slow procession across the earth with tender eyes. When they grow weary, they lift their gaze, and the sight of the stars steadies their hearts. The road is long, but the stars remind them they are never alone. In the quietest hours, when the fires fade and sleep begins to settle, the road itself seems to hum. It hums with the memory of footsteps. It hums with the weight of prayers. And if one listens closely, lying upon the earth, they may hear it. A deep, steady song, older than temples, older than kings. It is the song of the earth carrying pilgrims upon its back. Some dream of shrines, of sacred waters, of gates that open into light. Others dream of home, of children waiting, of hearths warm with familiar fire. And some dream of nothing at all, resting in the soft silence of the road's embrace. For in dreams, as in waking, the journey continues. The dust, the stars, the whispers of the wind, all carry the pilgrim forward, whether awake or asleep. And so the night passes gently. The road stretches onward, endless and patient. The pilgrims rest, their breaths deep, their burdens lightened by the stillness of the stars. For though their sandals are worn, though their bodies are tired, their souls are carried gently by the unseen. Each step tomorrow will be as sacred as the last, each pause as holy as prayer. Let the dust settle softly. Let the fires burn low. Let the road hold their dreams as tenderly as it holds their steps. The journey is never finished, yet it is always whole. Every night is a shrine, every breath a blessing. Now drift onward. The road is quiet. The pilgrims rest. And you too may rest, walking beside them in dreams. The night opens gently, like a scroll of stars unrolling across the sky. Its edges are quiet, tender, touched with the silver of a pale moon. The earth lies hushed beneath this vastness, breathing softly in its sleep. And within the stillness, scattered through forgotten lands, stand the remains of ancient altars. Once these altars rose tall. They were carved with hands full of devotion, laid stone upon stone with careful strength. Upon them fires once burned, bright and steady. Upon them prayers once rose, fragrant with herbs, cedar, and oil. But time is a slow river, and it carries away even the proudest works of stone. Now the altars stand broken, half buried in sand, swallowed by roots, softened by moss. Yet even in their ruin, something remains. When the moonlight touches them, the cracks seem to glow faintly. When the wind passes over them, it sounds like a faint song, carried through the empty spaces. and those who pass by feel something stir deep inside, as though the stones remember. For altars do not die. They crumble, they break, they return to earth. But the prayers once offered upon them still linger in the air, like a fragrance that never leaves. Long ago, when the stones first fell, the people gathered. They did not lift swords, nor curse the heavens. They gathered with their voices. Some wept softly, some closed their eyes, but most of all they sang. Their songs were not of battle or anger. They were songs of memory, of longing, of trust. The melodies were slow, carried gently like a lullaby sung to the night itself. Imagine them there, men and women, standing in the ruins of what was once holy ground. The sky above them vast, the earth beneath them wounded. Around them, walls broken, pillars scattered, the altar cracked open. And yet rising through it all, a thread of song. Thin at first, like the cry of a bird at dawn. Then stronger, voices weaving together like strands of soft cloth. They sang to the gods they loved. They sang to the stars above. They sang so that the silence would not swallow their devotion. The songs drifted outward. They rolled across the valleys and the plains, over rivers and through forests. They found their way into caves, where water dripped like slow drums. They brushed against mountains, which held them like echoes. They even reached the sea, where waves carried them farther still. The broken altars could not hold the fire anymore, so the people lit their fire in sound. And that fire never died. Even now, if one stands by those ruins in the quiet of night and listens closely, a faint music can still be heard. It may come in the sigh of the wind. It may come in the hush of leaves. It may come in the soft hum of insects as they call to one another in the dark. But there it is, a memory of the songs once sung beneath broken stone. The altars may crumble, but the songs drift on. They live in the hearts of those who remember, and in the dreams of those who sleep nearby. Every note is like a seed, falling into the soil of time. And from that soil, new faith grows again and again. Some of the old songs told of rivers, rivers that were said to carry the spirits of the departed into brighter lands. The people would sing of water, clear and endless, where no thirst could linger. Others sang of mountains, tall and radiant, where the gods were said to dwell in quiet halls. There were songs of the sky, painted with fire at dawn, brushed with silver at dusk. Songs of the earth, steady and tender, holding every living thing in its embrace. These were not songs of despair. They were songs of connection, reminders that even if stone falls, the bond between human and divine cannot be broken. In the mornings after their laments, when the light of dawn returned, the people would still gather. Children would run among the broken stones, playing with fragments as though they were treasures. Elders would sit upon the fallen blocks, tracing the old carvings with their fingers. And mothers would hum the same songs, soft and low, to soothe their little ones. The altars had fallen, but the devotion remained, carried gently in the fabric of daily life. It is said that travelers, centuries later, would still pause at these ruins. They would place a hand on the worn stone, feeling its coolness. Some would whisper prayers. Others would simply listen. Sometimes a bird would perch on the altar's edge, and its call would sound like the echo of a hymn. Sometimes the rain would fall, striking the stones in a rhythm like a hidden drum. The ruins, though silent, still spoke. They spoke not with words, but with presence. The presence of all who had once gathered there, of all who had once lifted their voices to the sky. In this way, the broken altars became teachers. They reminded the people that holiness is not only in stone, not only in fire, not only in temples. Holiness is in the breath. Holiness is in the song. Holiness is in the way people gather, even when all else is lost, and still choose to lift their voices to the unseen. The songs taught patience. They taught surrender. They taught that nothing built by hands will last forever. But the spirit behind it, the love, the devotion, the faith, that will outlive stone, outlive kingdoms, outlive even memory itself. So when night deepens and the stars gather once more, the songs return. They rise gently from the earth, from the broken stones, from the quiet air. They are not loud. They are not sharp. They move softly, like candlelight, like drifting smoke, like the hush of water in a hidden spring. If you close your eyes, you may hear them. If you breathe deeply, you may feel them moving through the silence. And as the songs drift, they do what they always have done. They cradle the weary. They comfort the sorrowful. They lift the heart toward the unseen. They remind all who listen that even in loss, there is beauty. Even in ruin, there is memory. And even in silence, there is music. Now the night deepens further. The stars shine like scattered altars of their own, burning softly in the heavens. Each one seems to carry a song within it, a note in the endless hymn of creation. The broken altars below echo them, faint but steady, singing still in their own way. Let your heart rest here, among the ruins. Let the songs drift around you, gentle as a blanket, soft as a sigh. The stones may be broken, but their memory holds you. The voices may be gone, but their songs remain. And now, as your breath slows, as your body grows heavy with rest, let those ancient melodies guide you deeper into calm. Let them remind you that nothing is truly lost. Every voice, every prayer, every song is still here, carried gently in the silence. Drift softly, as the songs beneath broken altars rise again. Drift onward, as the night becomes tender and whole. Rest as the stars return to their watch, and the earth hums quietly beneath you. For the altars may fall, but the song is eternal. And tonight that song sings you to sleep. The night is wide and unbroken. It stretches like a silver river across the heavens, carrying stars in its gentle current. Each star glimmers softly, patient, steady, as though keeping watch over the sleeping earth. And beneath this vast sky lies a land once heavy with footsteps, voices, and cries. Now it is quiet, hushed, forgotten by time. It was once a battlefield, but tonight it is only a plain of stillness, wrapped in the embrace of stars. The earth here is soft with grass. Long ago it was torn by the clash of men, marked by stone and steel. But the years have healed it. Green has returned, rising tenderly through the soil. Roots have taken hold, drinking deeply from the ground once darkened by struggle. Wildflowers bloom where shields once fell. Butterflies wander without care where spears once stood. The land remembers, but it does not remain wounded. It has forgiven. It has rested. It has begun again. The stars above seem to know this story. They shine with a quiet mercy, as if to soothe the earth beneath. They are not sharp or burning. They are gentle, like candles held in the hands of eternity. One could imagine that they are the souls of those who once walked here, now lifted into the sky. Each one a memory, a spark of life, resting where no shadow can harm them. Long ago, when the field was alive with struggle, people carried banners of faith. They believed the heavens watched their steps. They believed the unseen called them forward. Voices rose like thunder, prayers spoken in haste, vows bound to the edge of the blade. And yet when the dust settled, when silence came, it was not victory that remained. It was stillness. It was the same sky, looking down without judgment, holding both the fallen and the living in its light. Now, centuries later, only the stars remain unchanged. They are witnesses, shining softly over what has passed. They do not speak of sides. They do not remember divisions. They remember only that life once moved here, and that life has now returned to the earth. Those who wander into this place at night feel its gentleness. They do not hear echoes of battle. They hear the rustle of grass, the whisper of wind, the steady hum of the world at rest. Some kneel without knowing why. Some close their eyes, feeling peace where once there was fear. The stars above seem to open like a great book, each point of light a verse in the hymn of time. It is said that the souls of those who struggled here rose into the night, carried on the wings of unseen birds. Birds of light gliding upward, never tiring, never falling. They carried the weary beyond the sky, into realms where sorrow dissolves like mist. The battlefield, once so heavy with cries, became a place of release. Every voice lifted into silence. Every wound cradled into healing. And so the land itself sleeps now. It does not dream of swords or broken vows. It dreams of rivers flowing calmly. It dreams of mountains covered in snow. It dreams of children yet to come, walking freely across its surface, never knowing what once lay here. The stars watch over these dreams, blessing them with light that has traveled across endless ages. Imagine lying upon this grass. The earth is soft beneath you, the night wide above. The air is cool, touched with the faint scent of flowers hidden in the dark. You gaze upward, and the stars seem endless. They do not ask for anything. They do not stir you to rise. They simply shine, keeping you company, reminding you that rest is holy. For this battlefield is no longer a place of conflict. It is a sanctuary, a place where the soul can release its burdens, just as the earth has released its wounds. A place where forgotten struggles are held not in bitterness, but in tenderness. The land has chosen silence over memory, peace over pain, and the stars have crowned it with light. Some of the old songs still linger here, though they are faint. If the wind is right, one might hear them moving just beyond the edge of sound. They are not war songs. They are lullabies, woven by those who wished only to see peace again. They drift upward, carried like smoke into the night, joining the stars in their slow, endless shining. The songs remind the earth that even in loss, love can be found. Even in forgetting, there is a kind of grace. The people who once walked these roads are gone. Their names are faded, their stories scatter. Yet their presence is not lost. It has been folded into the land itself, into the roots, into the rivers, into the wide and gentle sky. Every star above may be a fragment of their memory, glowing softly so that nothing is truly gone. Even the most forgotten of lives has its place in the great design of life. The battlefield, once a place of ending, has become a place of beginning. Seeds grow where sorrow once lay. Birdsong rises where silence once lingered. And the stars shine above it all, timeless, patient, eternal. The night teaches that everything returns to calm. Everything dissolves into rest. And even what is forgotten is not lost, for it lives on in gentleness. Now let your breath slow. Feel the stillness of this place, as though you are lying upon its quiet earth. The stars above are countless, but they do not overwhelm. They simply guide your gaze, leading it higher, farther, softer. Every flicker is a reminder that peace waits beyond every struggle. Every glimmer is a promise that nothing ends without becoming something new. The battlefield is forgotten, but its forgetting is a blessing. It has become like the body after sleep, restored, healed, made whole again. So too may the soul rest here, unburdened by what is past. The stars are its guardians, keeping watch through the endless night. Let us drift onward now, through this wide plain of memory and light. Let us rest beneath the sky that forgives all things. The battles are gone. The dust has settled. Only peace remains. And as your eyes grow heavy, let the stars be your blanket. Let the quiet earth be your pillow. Let the forgotten battlefield teach you the wisdom of rest. For in the end, every struggle fades. Every voice softens. Every soul is gathered into the sky. Now rest as the stars return to their watch. Now sleep as the earth hums its gentle lullaby. The battlefield is forgotten, but the peace it holds is eternal.